Hey, what's going on, Alabama Crimson Tide football fans? It's Kyle Henderson of BamaInsider.com. Alabama held their 8th practice of fall training camp, here to talk about the scrimmage, what we learned after listening to Nick Saban, combined with some practice footage, so stay with us. But before we get going, be sure and hit that thumbs up button. That really helps our channel grow and get out to other Alabama Crimson Tide football fans. Now, leading off, you're probably wondering why Bryce Young didn't practice on Saturday with the team. Here's Nick Saban, and we'll just keep it simple. Rest easy. He'll be back on Monday.
Well, you know, Bryce didn't work today, and he'll be back on Monday. So I think Mac did some good things. I think he had 3 touchdown passes, and I don't know, he was 21 for 36. But I just think Mac's got to play within himself, be confident, be positive, not beat himself up when he makes bad plays. And, that's part of the maturity level of a competitor that his game experience is going to help him do. And I think his experiences leading up to the game will help him do as well. I think, the other guys, they've got work to do, just pace of play, speed of the game. The game speeds up, the rush speeds up. You got to be comfortable being uncomfortable with, how fast the game goes. So I think those guys are going to improve with the experiences they have relative to that.
All right, that's Nick Saban talking about the quarterbacks. Heard Najee Harris had a phenomenal day overall, and he got a touchdown pass that from Mac Jones. He looked overall poised and polished. I mean, you're talking about one of the top running backs in all of college football returning, so really not surprised on that. How about this? First look at Jace McClellan. Alabama, they heard us, right? We're slowly getting footage of these younger guys. And get this, we're starting to hear that Brian Robinson is really starting to blossom and be that guy that we all expect him to. So Najee, Brian Robinson, definitely the best tandem in college football returning. So expect those guys to really stand out as we continue to push forward. But heard that Najee today was just on another level, really did his thing. And of course, Trey Sanders is going to get his. He's certainly going to eat. It's just Brian Robinson and Najee. So it's a crowded running back room. Those guys all going to eat. But that's kind of the running back report kind of going into Sunday, August 30th. Now, Brian Robinson, as we mentioned, right out of Hillcrest in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and a guy that, is 225 pounds, is entering his senior year. So he knows the terminology. And I think Alabama, as you've seen, they've been showing tons of clips of him. So I think reading between the lines, this guy is ready for a great senior season, which is excellent to hear. Here's another shot of actual scrimmage action, and that's Najee Harris. Look at him right in beast mode, 235 pounds, leading the way. As I said, heard he played absolutely stellar. Now, the offensive line for Alabama, very experienced. There you see Landon Dickerson. And today Nick Saban was asked about the offensive line and who's going to take over that center position, because I think, as we talked about it before, is it going to be Chris Owens, who you see right there? Is it going to be a younger guy like Darian Dalcourt? Here's what Nick Saban had to say about his offensive line. There's a shot of Evan Neal. Always looks so beastly, right? But here's Nick Saban talking about the offensive center position.
Well, we feel good about 3 guys that can play center for us, and those 2 guys can play. And I think both those guys have done very, very well. They made improvements. I think they have good knowledge and experience. And these guys are, Darian is only playing center. All right, everybody else is moving around to play. We've also played Emil at center some too, and he's done a nice job, and he's done a nice job at developing at guard. So, I think we need to develop depth, in the offensive line. I think the experience shows in all those players. I think that if we can stay healthy there, that we can have a pretty good offensive line.
More footage from the offensive side of the ball. You got Carl Tucker, Alabama's new grad transfer tight end. And John Mechie, from what we hear, is Alabama's 3rd wide receiver, no doubt about it. So you got Jaylen Waddle, Devontae Smith, John Mechie, and then the position battle looks to be between Slade Bolden, Xavier Williams, and Javon Baker, the freshman. But absolutely, John Mechie having a great fall training camp, which is really no surprise. Remember, he was recently the A-Day MVP. I think that was last season. Here's Thao Jones-Bell, number 14, right here, catching the football across the middle of the field. And you'll just see such a big difference between some of these younger wide receivers and these upperclassmen. I mean, check this out right here. As Jaylen Waddle gets to run a route. Look at that. Comes off the ball hard, cuts, comes inside, catches the football, tuck, and run. So Alabama's wide receivers, those three wide receivers, Devontae Smith, Jaylen Waddle, John Mechie, certainly tops in their receiving room. Here's an image of Miller Forrestall, one of Alabama's returning tight ends, and he's going to be the starter. So it looks like at the starting position for tight end, it's going to be Miller Forrestall and, of course, Major Tennyson, and then probably spot play Carl Tucker. And don't forget about Cameron Latou and Jahill Billingsley, another guy that we can't wait to see because we feel that he could be that hybrid wide receiver tight end that gives people problems. Javon Baker, as we've talked about several times already, really turning heads. Probably the top wide receiver from this freshman group. A lot of wide receivers came in, but Javon Baker, probably a guy who's going to get on the field with the ones. It looks like here's a shot of John Mechie turning up the field. That's Malachi Moore, number 13. And as we talked about today, the ones went against the twos. So Saban likes to scrimmage in that format, especially early on in the fall training camp season. Here's Jaylen Waddle with the football right here. Needs the football, right? We've talked about that several times. Jaylen Waddle needs the football as much as possible. When we look to the defensive side of the ball, you got Dylan Moses. From what I gather, Dylan Moses is playing like an NFL player right now on Alabama's roster. There's been a couple times this season where Dylan Moses has chased down some of the fastest players on Alabama's team, and I think that says a lot considering Dylan Moses plays on the defensive side of the ball. So that's good news considering this guy's coming off an ACL. So totally thrilled to hear Dylan Moses is doing well. Quick shot at the defensive backs working with Carl Scott, who does a great job with those guys. That's Patrick Surtain, followed by Josh Jobe, Jalen Armour Davis. And from what I gather, I mean, it looks like DeMarco Hellams could be that third safety to come off. So it looks like the starting safeties are going to be Daniel Wright and Jordan Battle, and then look for DeMarco Hellams to come off the ball. Here's a photo from actual scrimmage footage, and it looks like Chris Owens giving someone all they can handle, followed by Patrick Surtain in the backfield. So these guys, without question, got a lot of work today. Here's Nick Saban talking about the outside linebackers, Chris Allen, Ben Davis, and some of the younger freshmen who are turning heads.
You know, Chris Allen and Ben Davis are older guys that have experience at the position, and they've done well. And, you know, we have several freshmen, Drew Sanders and Will Anderson, you know, both have, you know, showing some promise. They're still, you know, working through, you know, understanding exactly what to do and how to do it. But they're both, you know, guys that I think can probably contribute to the team. I think we have some other guys who at linebacker in general who might be able to develop and help us, you know, this year as well.
Now, before we close out, Nick Saban had some very positive things to say about freshman Brian Branch, who has been working at that star position, and also talked about Malachi Moore, two freshmen who look very promising early on.
Brian Branch and Malachi Moore, you know, both have been playing star. They're both young players, and they both have shown the potential to be able to play the position and play winning football at the position. So it's certainly a position of need for us. You know, we talked before about losing 4 starters out of 5 guys last year and a lot of experience. And, you know, Patrick Surtain could obviously play star, but, you know, he's so valuable at corner, you hate to move him in there. But Marcus Banks and Josh Jobe have both made significant progress at corner. So, but those 2 guys have shown promise, and hopefully they're going to be able to help us this year.
Thanks for watching today. Please hit that thumbs up button. That really helps our coverage get out to other Alabama Crimson Tide football fans. We hope you continue to enjoy our coverage right here on BamaInsider.com. From beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama, this is Kyle Henderson. I'll talk to you guys next time.